So the first thing that this article talked about was it said that no other animal species are more behaviorally alike than wolves and humans. Get that, huh? When I think of behavior and what animals in the animal kingdom might be similar, I think if humans are one of those animals, I think of monkey, chimpanzees, apes, you know what I mean? Because genetically we're that close. But they're talking about behaviorally. So interesting, because if we're talking about behavior and behavioral issues and challenges and how they can pose problems with our relationships, this is where it gets super interesting and super ironic. So one point that they made that was very interesting was they said the ranking of the leadership for the alpha male and female is that it's not forced. They don't have a knockdown, drag out fight and aggressive pursuance of this position to be alpha. They don't have domineering or aggressive behavior towards anybody else in the pack. They are granted the position through their demonstration of their ability to lead. Like, everybody else in the group kind of just steps aside because this one individual in the pack has what it takes to get the pack to succeed in finding territory, hunting grounds, food, obviously, dens, mates, procreation, like all of that. So that was a very fascinating tidbit to me, because when I think back to my narcissist, she was extremely aggressive. When I say extremely aggressive, I mean with me in our workplace. I 100% am positive that she was aggressive with other people close to her in private that she had chosen for supply elsewhere. In fact, I imagine that her current husband, which is, I don't know, when, just suffice it to say, I'm sure that there have been many other victims of her behavior. With me in the office, she was very careful, very cunning to make sure there were no witnesses to her outbursts, her behavior, her nastiness, her antagonism, her fits, her aggression, all towards me. Singled me out all the time. And here I was. My mindset was, we're not in 4th grade. Grow up. So I literally just ignored her. Whatever. It wasn't important. We didn't need to work together on much of anything. So I just tried to ignore her for the most part. I think that enraged her at times. The more I ignored her and the more I acted like her aggression and her selection of me as a target did not matter to me, the more she acted up, the worse she got, the more aggressive she became. There was one point where she came at me at my desk, and I went directly into my boss's office, expecting and hoping that she would follow, and she did, but she immediately calmed down. And then she was like, I'm going to step out and make a call. I was like, yeah, you're going to, because you don't want to give any more material to witnesses. But she knew our boss would never, he just, like I said in the last video, he did not have the ability to stand up to her. He's injured, I'm injured. I don't know all of what his injuries are, and I'm not going to guess. But I definitely was injured, as I found out through counseling, and had a past of not knowing who I was, or, what healthy boundaries were, or, so I never felt like I could or should stand up to her. But at the time I wasn't aware of that. All I thought was, I'm not even going to be bothered with this. I remained professional, calm, even tempered, well thought out. I would never do anything or say anything in haste. Toward, I'm kind of getting off on a tangent, and I don't mean to do that. But how it's applicable to this is she was extremely aggressive, extremely domineering, extremely controlling. And the more videos you watch on this channel, the more you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So it's interesting that she thought of herself as the big cheese in the office, because she was the exact opposite of what an alpha person would be. She was very aggressive and very domineering. Interestingly and simultaneously, the primary characteristic that these biologists both said that the alphas have is a quiet confidence, quiet self-assuredness. The wolves, the alpha wolves, just do what needs to be done for the best interest of the pack or the group. They don't squabble. They don't nitpick. The alpha is very comfortable with a calm, even-tempered atmosphere. The alpha has a calming presence and a calming effect on the group. This woman did not, at all. In fact, there were times she stomped through the office. She threw things at her desk when she was in a tizzy. She raised her voice. She muttered under her breath. I mean, she acted like a spoiled, nasty little child. But if you've done any research on narcissism, that's exactly what they are. All the professionals say a narcissist is a 3-year-old in an adult body that throws temper tantrums and behaves like a 3-year-old. But a 3-year-old doesn't understand. They get grace and forgiveness, and they get taught, hopefully, by their guardians and parents or whatever, how to control their temper and what appropriate behavior is and what inappropriate behavior is. But an adult narcissist does not. They are a 3-year-old toddler trapped in an adult body, and they will scream and rage and nitpick and cry because poor me, and they'll blame it on everybody else and so on and so forth. So a couple of takeaways for that little part is the alpha leader in a pack is not aggressive and not domineering. Simultaneously, the primary characteristic of the alpha is calm, quiet, confidence, and self-assuredness. Imagine that. When you think, this is one of the things they gave as a comparative thing, when you think about the success of a tribe or a pack, which one is more likely to succeed and reproduce and grow the tribe? The pack whose members are cooperative, sharing, nonviolent, aggressive, and whose members are not competing with each other, or the pack that is constantly at each other and breaking the pack up? I think it's pretty obvious which one's going to succeed and which one's going to be more successful and which one's going to grow and protect the population and take care of the sick ones and the elderly ones. Yeah. So it's very interesting when you think about families breaking up, families that grow and succeed and are close and intimate and loving and caring of each other and for each other. There is none of that competition, animosity, aggressiveness, selfishness. They're all in this communal mindset where they're trying to do the best for the group, for the pod. And I remember so many times wishing and hoping and praying and trying to talk to the brick wall of executives, the handful of leaders that I kept going to and saying, listen, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to try to get everybody to work together to have a healthy leadership team. We had a small office of seven or eight people, and I banged my head against the wall, absolutely banged my head against the wall and got nowhere. I felt like I was talking to a brick wall. I wanted so badly to make an awesome team. And when I left is after time, after I realized that they didn't care about that. What they cared about was the bottom line. And I get in business to a certain extent the need to have income. Otherwise, what's the point of business? I get that. But you have to have a healthy team. Something what we're dealing with right now with the advent of the Great Resignation is employers that have no clue how to have a healthy team or how to lead their team and how to have communal workers working for the greater good that's going to provide for them and provide for their team for the future. They're at each other's throats. Everybody's at each other's throats. So it's kind of like, well, how in the world is this going to succeed? How is this going to be better? How is this going to work? It's not. You have to work on healthy relationships, communal, working together. And if you have members of a tribe that are not going to do that and they're not going to work on improving themselves and they're going to constantly be aggressive and competitive and raging and nitpicky, those are the ones you need to axe off your team. Gary Vaynerchuk said that, if you follow him. I'm going to end this video here just for the time being. We're going to move on to part 3 because this video is over 11 minutes now. Please join me and stick around for part 3 because I got a little bit more good stuff coming. Thank you. Bye for now.